Each moment is a chance for us to make peace with the world. Peace possible for the world. To make happiness possible for the world. Each moment is a chance for us to make peace with the world. To make peace possible for the world. Make happiness possible for the world. Each moment is a chance for us to make peace with the world. To make peace possible for the world. For us to make peace with the world. Each moment is a chance for us to make peace with the world. All right, here comes Sunny.
Good evening, everyone. Oh, look it. Welcome to the experience of a lifetime. Oh, I think she's probably nervous. Come here, sweetie. Oh, that doggy's a sweetie. So if you weren't here last week, first of all, let's give some love to Jim and Cole.
Oh, thank you, thank you.
And Mello is greeting us all and courting that also that baby there. But last week we got a chance to sing a new song, and so we're going to give it a shot again. It's called Step Into the Light. It'll be in your program soon, but for now, just sing along. It's really easy. Step into the light, step into the love, step into the truth of who you are. Step into the light, step into the love, step into the peace of who you are. Step into the light, step into the love, step into the joy of who you are. Step into the light, step into the love, step into the truth of who you are. I am and you are the light of the world. I am and you are the light of the world. I am and you are the light of the world. I am and you are the light of the world. Step into the light, step into the love, step into the truth of who you are. Step into the light, step into the love, step into the joy of who you are. Next is peace. Step into the light, step into the love, step into the peace of who you are. Truth. Step into the light, step into the love, step into the truth of who you are. I am and you are. I am and you are the light of the world. I am and you are the light of the world. I am and you are the light of the world. I am and you are the light of the world. Step into the light, step into the love, So this is a really nice rhythm. If you want to get up and dance as we get to learn this song a little more, I know it will move you and stir you to do so. Exactly, right?
Step into the grace of who you are.
Step into the light, step into the love, step into the truth of who you are. One more time. I am and you are the light of the world. I am and you are the light of the world. Nice rep. I am and you are the light of the world. One more time. I am and you are the light of the world. Step into the light. Nice. Great job, everybody. You know, these are our songs. So I really love that y'all sing them because they're ours. They're our own Wednesday night experience, enlightening experience. I'm so flustered by the doggies. But it is our songs, is what I'm simply trying to say. So as we move into Reveal, you can take it in, you can close your eyes, you can sing along. But this one speaks to the truth of who we are as well. Reveal, reveal the love inside of me. Reveal the love that I was meant to be. And every time I open up, love is what I see. Reveal the love in me. The peace. Reveal, reveal the peace inside of me. Reveal the peace that I was meant to be. And every time I open up, peace is what I see. Reveal the peace in me. The joy. Reveal, reveal the joy inside of me. Reveal the joy that I was meant to be. And every time I open up, joy is what I see. Reveal the joy in me. Reveal, reveal the love inside of me. Reveal the love that I was meant to be. And every time I open up, love is what I see. Every time I open up, peace is what I see. Joy. Every time I open up, joy is what I see. Reveal the love in me.
Daye for that beautiful opening song, which just sets us in that place, sets us in that mid-week place that is such a gift. Welcome everyone, I'm Denise Harmon. I'm a spiritual practitioner here at Seaside, and I get to be here now every third Wednesday of the month. So I signed up, woohoo.
Step into the mic.
That's right.
Step into the mic.
Oh, am I not?
Yeah.
They told me I have to be like this close to it.
That's the one.
I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
All right. So first, I'm going to take us all into the stillness. So I invite everyone here to just go to that place within. Being right here, right now, in this beautiful space, knowing that God is those spaces between the spaces, knowing that God is that revealing spirit, that revealing intuitive that speaks directly to each one here, knowing that this beautiful sacred time, sacred space in this Wednesday night service here with Reverend Sunshine, knowing that the words spoken through Reverend Sunshine is almost like a melody, like a beautiful melody that speaks directly to our hearts, speaks directly to that inner voice, that inner knowing. And this is good. This is good. And I feel and sense and claim for each one here that everyone is in that space of sensing, that space of sensing the words, taking them within almost as a cellular basis. And listening to that music kind of hangs right out in that space as well. And feeling good, feeling God. And so it is. And so. Okay. So we're going to stick with this theme. The month, Reverend Sunshine's message tonight is sit down, be still. Yes. Yes. So I chose an excerpt here in the Science of Mind that speaks to that. And this is on page 445. In conversation, we assume great knowledge of religion and philosophy, but how much do we really experience? We can know only that which we experience. All great religions have taught truth, but it means nothing to us unless it becomes our truth. We need spiritual experience. We shall never know peace until we embody it. We shall never know truth until we become truth. And we cannot know God unless we sense Him within our own being. The Spirit is ever giving, but we must take. What life does for us must be done through us. Spiritual experience is deep, calm, and self-assertive. It is a result of actually realizing that presence which binds all together in one complete whole. This experience comes in the stillness of the soul. When the outer voice is quiet, it is a quickening of the inner man to an eternal reality. Spiritual experience is a fact. Spirituality may be defined as an atmosphere of good, the realization of God. It cannot and does not borrow its light from another. No matter how great or noble that other may be, it springs from within, coming from that never falling, never failing fountain of life, which quenches every thirst, whose source is in eternity the wellspring of self-existence. It is a revelation of the self to the self, putting one back on the track of his own self-dependence on spirit, his own at one-ment with reality. And again, Reverend Sunshine's message, sit down, be still.
Thank you so much for that great reading and that great prayer, especially the time in the silence, being still. Hi, everybody. What's happening? I think we got new light bulbs. Either that or y'all are shining super bright. Sit down, be still. Can you just stop for a moment and begin to imagine what I must have been thinking about when I wrote the talk title for tonight? Sit down, be still. There's so many ways to say that. Sit down, be still. Sit down, be still. With the wagging finger. Why don't you just sit down and be still? Or simply sit down, be still. No matter how we say it, those 4 words, whether it is an invitation, whether it's a command, whether we just read it as a direct order, it is calling us forth not to necessarily do anything, but to simply be. I'm not the first to say this. We're not humans doing, we're human being. And so many times we get wrapped up in, I have to do this, or I have to do that, or even when we change the words around, I get to do this. I get to wash the dishes today instead of I have to wash the dishes. But sometimes we get so caught up in what we need to do, how we need to be at a particular place, and we got to do this, or we got to do that, or we got to do this, or the other thing. And when it comes to our science of mind philosophy and our science of mind way of life, it's not about the doing as much as it is about the being. And yes, when we do our meditation, when we do our spiritual practice, when we do our prayers, when we do sacred service, and when we're involved in certain things of that nature, what it helps us to do is it helps us to be or to become. And tonight we're taking a look at sit down, the doing of sitting down, but the be still. The opportunity that we get to be still and to recognize in our stillness and in the silence the eternal life that is ours, the eternal broadcast that is broadcasting itself, the eternal message that we can tune into if we're being still and listening enough to catch the eternal broadcast that is really our direction for life. How many times are we just like in this endless cycle of just running and running and running, and finally we need to say to ourselves, just sit down. Or when we can really like take our shoes off and go, I'm so happy to just be sitting down right now. Because our lives are constantly on autopilot or constantly on the go. I was watching a YouTube video, I think it was on multitasking. How many of you are great multitaskers? Raise your hand. Be proud of it. Come on, let me see. Okay. Do you know that we cannot effectively multitask, right? Science has proven it, that we cannot count how many trains in a car and time how fast it's going, as it's going by. That we cannot effectively do 2 things at one time. We're not made up to do that. We are made up to pay attention right here and to be right here, right now. Instead of being here, right now, answering the phone, sending an email, sending a text, typing with your toes. That even though we might think we're effective at multitasking or that we might be able to juggle lots of things all at once, that really when we separate ourselves and we separate our time or our energy, that we're really not doing any one thing with any efficacy, that we're really giving all of these things a partial attention. And the result of that is that we're doing a lot of things with 70, 80% effectiveness. When really, when we focus on one thing and do one thing and give it 100% of our attention, then we can really shine our light through the work, through the job, through the task, through whatever it is that we're paying attention to. Now, the reason I bring that up is because, I thought for myself that, multitasking was a skill. And, I would go on job interviews and I'd be like, I'm a great multitasker, and I know how to, but in reality, it's a weapon of mass distraction. And it distracts us from the primary thing in which we really want to pay attention to. And then whatever it is that we're doing doesn't really get our full attention. And it doesn't really come out 100% as to how we'd like it to be. Now, I know some of us in the room are parents. And you say, oh, no, Reverend Sunshine, you don't know me. I'm a mom, or I'm a dad, or I'm a stay-at-home dad, or a stay-at-home mom, and I have 2 kids or 3 kids, and I had to raise them and cook and be on the phone and make a da-da-da-boo-boo-boo-boo, and I did a really good job. Yes, you have. Yeah. I mean, we do. We do what we can with what we have. And yet, when we really take a look at, well, how much time did I really dedicate to cooking? Or how much time did I really dedicate to paying attention to my child? Or how much time did I really pay attention to that email before I hit send and then notice that there were a few typos in there and I really didn't mean to write would, it should have been should, or whatever it is that it's supposed to be. But we're used to making mistakes, so that's probably, something we can't attribute to multitasking, right? Well, it's just something to look at. It's just something to maybe pay attention to, especially when it comes to our spiritual practice. Especially when it comes to living the genuine life that we're here to live. Especially when it comes to really achieving and really being our full authentic selves. If I'm busy multitasking, if I'm busy in a lot of pots, if I have my hand in so many activities, and I'm going to squeeze in my meditation, or I'm going to pray and meditate at the same time, or I'm going to try to multitask while I'm doing my spiritual practice. Like I want to read the Science of Mind book, while I'm getting my nails done, or my pedicure, and talking to Sonny on the other line. I'm probably not going to get the fullness of what's before me in either location. I'm not really paying attention to Sonny on the phone because I'm trying to read and prepare for Wednesday night service. Or B, I'm not fully going to enjoy my mani-pedi, which I totally love, if I'm not being fully present. I am only cheating myself when I begin to think that I could be effective at doing 2 to 3 or 4 or more things simultaneously to save time. To save time for what? For what exactly am I saving this time for? So that I can have a better spiritual practice later? Am I getting this stuff all done now so that I can have 30 minutes of uninterrupted prayer or meditation or visioning or sacred service? Or is it just, I'm clumping all these things together here so I could clump all these things together here. I bring this up because I believe that it's time for us to stop living a life of mediocrity. That we're not the Dunkin' Donuts guy. Time to make the donuts. That it's not about going to work Monday through Friday, 9 to 5, trying to make a living, trying to, wish and chant upon some abundance or some peace of mind or some situation that we want, but yet we're not going to really dedicate the time. We're not going to really sit down and be still and dedicate some real, genuine, uninterrupted time in our spiritual practice that we might indeed taste, just have a little taste of what it's like to be in bliss, to have a little taste of what it's like to have some serenity, to have a little taste or a little sample of what it's like to have an abundant life. If we continue doing what we're doing, we're going to keep getting what we're getting. And if we still find ourselves on that treadmill, or if we still find ourselves on that hamster trail, then something has to stop. Something has to be different. We need to relook at what it is that we're doing that has us being the way we're being and make a shift. And the shift doesn't have to be 180 degrees this way, as much as the shift can simply be a simple shift from here to here. It can be a subtle shift. It can be a slight shift. But anything that moves us from the same old time to make the donuts mentality, the life of mediocrity mentality, that this is all I can achieve and this is all that I'm going to get, this is all that I'm going to have, so what's the use? Or I'm going to pay my dues until I die, or I'm going to pay my dues until I make it. If we continue to have that kind of a mindset, we're still going to keep getting what we're getting. However, if we indeed just even take in just a little bit and shift our focus, or we open up a little bit and are willing to maybe do something different so that we can be in a different state of awareness and consciousness, then we're talking. But I can't be here week after week and let us continue to sleepwalk. You know what I mean? It's kind of like, okay, we kind of glide for a little bit, and then it's like, wake up, beloved. We cannot continue to keep doing the same old things expecting different results. They call that insanity in 12-step program. You keep doing the same thing over and over again, expecting different results. And the bottom line is that by simply embracing and having a simple shift in our awareness and in our consciousness, we begin to have a different experience. And we must stick to it, though. For some of us, it does happen like the parting of the Red Sea, instantaneously. And for others, it takes a little bit more being in the stillness, being still. There was some joke, and I don't even remember it. But I remember the punchline of it was, so what are you going to do? Just sit there and do nothing? And it's about this guy who meditates about a particular problem. He just sits in meditation while the other guy is just like running circles around, not accomplishing anything. And it's like, what are you going to do? Just sit there and do nothing? And it's like, yes, I am inviting you to just sit there and do nothing. It's like, great. Don't go and tell your boss that this week. Well, Reverend Sunshine just told me to sit here and do nothing. So, no, don't be bringing me any pink slips next Wednesday night, because I'm telling you and inviting you to sit there and do nothing. I am indeed asking and inviting you to sit down and be still. And in that stillness, you can entertain several things. Because I know that for some of us, being still is already a tall order. So if I'm going to ask you to be still and do nothing, that might be an impossibility for some and a welcome invitation for others. So what do I engage in the stillness, sunshine? Come on, really sit down, be still. What do I engage in the stillness? Well, if you're new to the stillness, which we've been here every week doing at least, 4 or 5 minutes of stillness, just kind of being quiet after my talk. But, how you can use that stillness away from Wednesday night service. Stillness every day. 5 minutes, 3 minutes, 2 minutes, 10 minutes, whatever it is that you can afford to dedicate to start. It might be stillness and just contemplation, thinking about where you are and where you'd like to be. You can be in the stillness with your eyes open. You can be in the stillness with your eyes closed. You can be in the stillness and begin to visualize your next steps. There may be a relationship or a conversation or something that you need to do that might be difficult. Instead of talking to your good girlfriend about what you should be doing, or your best friend about, dude, man, I got this problem, whatever, what should I do? Instead of going outside of yourself for the answer, sit down, be still. Ask your inner self, here's the situation. What's going to be for the highest and best? What is the highest and best outcome? What do I need to say? What do I need to hear? What do I need to know? And in the stillness, simply have a conversation with yourself, with your higher self. Simply take that 2, 3, 5, 10 minutes. Begin to even visualize the steps that you take in moving through the situation with ease and grace. Don't see it coming up like, oh, and then I'm going to say this, and then she's going to go off, and I'm going to have to leave because if she goes off, I can't be in that kind of energy, No. Begin to visualize a favorable outcome. I'm going to say, I don't know the best way to handle this, so I wanted to just have a conversation with you about da-da-da-da-da. And visualize that person saying, I've been wanting to talk to you about the same thing. And how can we work this out so that it's for the highest and the best for both of us? Begin to visualize the answer to whatever situation, whatever problem, whatever job you're seeking, whatever opportunity that you want to have, whatever conversation. Use the stillness and be still. And use that stillness to receive the answers for your life. You can use the stillness to simply be quiet and not even entertain any thoughts, and to simply just allow the thoughts to flow by like clouds that are just passing you by. Whatever it is that you choose to do in the stillness, by all means, do it. Be it. But be in the stillness. Dedicate some time, some effort, some energy, uninterrupted by anything else. So whether you use your stillness for contemplation, for meditation, to have some questions answered for you, be mindful and be deliberate and be on purpose. You know, the reading out of our Science of Mind book for today were 2 meditations, and they were meditations on being still. They were meditations on simply living this life to where when we're still and when we just allow our ears, our inner ears and our outer ears to listen, when we allow our outer eye and our inner eyes to see, when we allow our heart to feel, that we begin to simply be open and receptive to this broadcast. And when I talk about a broadcast, I'm talking about life itself is constantly giving us messages. It's constantly presenting opportunities. Life is constantly arranging itself for our highest good. And if we pay attention, we notice, yes, this is for me. Yes, this is not for me. Yes, this situation is a situation that I've been waiting for. When we allow ourselves to really be still and really be in tune to that divine, eternal broadcast that is happening specifically for us, we align with that truth and we follow its direction, and before you know it, we're living a life beyond our wildest dreams. Everything falls into place. Everything falls into place. But am I too busy? Am I too busy in these tasks, in this doing, that I am too busy to simply be still, to simply sit down and be still? And that's the question that we get to answer individually. Are you happy with what you're receiving? Are you happy with what you're getting? Are you happy with how you're showing up in the world? Or is there an opportunity for us to show up differently? And if there is an opportunity for us to show up differently, then this simple practice of just sit down, be still, is something that we can already incorporate in our lives that would give us this slight little shift so that we might move in a different direction, that we might show up a little more in tune with life's cheerleader and with life's vigor and with life's harmony and life's abundance, just like pouring forth from us, with life's love just pouring out of us. But we have to be willing to be still. And if we're not willing to be still, to be in some type of spiritual practice, to just pause, even momentarily, and take in the beauty and the grandeur of life, to simply take a moment to rest in this truth, then we're constantly going and doing instead of being human, instead of being a human being. So let me ask you this question. When does your heart rest? Between the beats is what Rosedale says. So even your heart pauses and is still. Even your heart pauses and is still. Boom, boom. Boom, boom. Boom, boom. It stops. It rests. It is still. Even for that moment before it's added again. And so it is with us, that if we take our cues from life and simply have a moment of pause before you just jump off at the mouth at somebody or fly off the handle. If we just pause, if we take that time to pause and to be still and know that God is right where we are, that our life is that life that God is, that there is nothing outside of a life that is God, that there is nothing that can separate your life from the life of God. If you just pause and ponder or contemplate or see yourself as the life of God, expressing beautifully and magnificently as you, as no one else can, then, and only then are we ready and open and receptive to really receive all that is ours to receive, that we might live fully as the life of God. And so as I invite you now to simply clear away anything that might symbolically be in the way of some time in the stillness, I invite you to gently close your eyes if you choose to. And if you'd like to leave your eyes open, just find a plant or a spot that you can just simply have a soft gaze upon. And as we prepare ourselves, as we prepare to fashion ourselves behind our heart or behind anything that simply pauses to rest, decide now how you're going to use this time in the stillness, this time in the silence. If there's something that's weighing upon your heart, use this time now to be open to listening to that inner guidance system. Ask yourself, your higher self, the question and listen for the answer. If you choose, you use this time to visualize a great and fabulous outcome for a situation. Or if you simply want to just rest and be still and unwind from the day, we can simply use this time in the stillness and in the silence to just have that space of nothingness between the thoughts. But however we choose to use this time, know this one thing. Right where you are, God is. Right where you are, life is. Right where you are, abundance is. Right where you are, love is. Joy, peace, prosperity, health and wholeness and well-being, beauty and divine creativity is who you are. Right where you are, all of this is true right now. So we allow ourselves to use this time for our highest and our best.
still, be still, quiet and in peace. Know the joy and wonder of release. Be still, be still.
And as we simply notice how we used our time in the stillness, we give thanks. And we allow ourselves to move into a place of gratitude. Gratitude for the stillness, gratitude for the silence, gratitude for the way that we use the stillness and the silence. Recognizing that by this practice, that we can, in effect, be our divine self, our creative self, our loving self, our kind self, our joyous self, our abundant self, our peaceful self, our harmonious self, our whole self, our genuine self. That by engaging in just a few minutes, a few times a day, that we emerge from the stillness and emerge from the silence with a renewing of our hearts, a renewing of our minds, a deeper knowing and a deeper understanding that our life is indeed that life that God is. And that as we pay attention to anchoring this truth, and as we anchor this truth more and more, as we get to know that this is our truth beyond the shadow of a doubt, then we can't help but live that life of the beloved as our very own life. So of course we're grateful for our time in the stillness and the silence, because we emerge from this place as the great one that we are. We emerge from this place feeling our wholeness and our oneness in spirit. Recognizing and knowing that whomever we see or embrace is that life that God is as well. So for this we give thanks, and we dedicate this time to the knowing of our life as the life of God, that we might live it so fully and so joyously and so freely, that others too might recognize that this is their truth, that we together might awaken this world from the deep sleep of separation, of hatred, of dishonesty, of the lies that we've been taught, that we might awaken to the truth, and that truth being that our life is the life of God, period. And that which is true of God is true of us. So we revel in that. We celebrate that. We accept that as our truth and as the truth of everything and everyone. And we allow it to be as we step into a life free from all discord, as we step into our life as the life of God in this human form, human being. We let it be, and so it is. Amen. Amen. Hi again. I can't wait to hear how you use the time. What came to you, maybe what didn't come to you that you wish would have, or what you're looking forward to practicing, and how your week is going to unfold using our time in the stillness this week. In the meantime, I'd love to invite our ushers forward. Melissa and Dennis, thank you so much for your sacred service. And as our ushers come forward, the invitation is to simply hold in your hand your gifts, your tithes, your offerings, that which you have brought to share with the spiritual community. And to simply become grateful that we have been gifted so much, that our lives are indeed participating in the reciprocal nature of life, that we have been given so much, and because we're given so much that we take a small percentage of what we're given and we use it here at Seaside to support our spiritual community, to support the programs, to support this Wednesday night service, to support all the ways that Seaside is of service to the greater community. And so as we take our gifts, our tithes, and our offerings and become grateful for something in our lives, we simply know and bless that which is put into these baskets, knowing that they are indeed multiplied and that indeed the gifts that are given now are multiplied. And we know and bless the giver, and we bless the gift, knowing that we are great and wonderful stewards of that which we receive here at Seaside, and that we also give forth into the greater community. So these gifts, these tithes, these offerings are indeed blessed. We let it be so, and so it is. Amen. Go forth, ushers. Multiply this consciousness. And thank you so much, community, for your generosity, for your generous hearts, and the way that you give and the way that you show up. And so, as you give, you receive. So please open your hearts now and receive the beautiful music and the gift of Sunny Daye and Jim Bianchi.
I forgot to listen to that still small voice coming through, reminding me of the love I am, hope and heart, open hand. Yes, I know my God is here. I surrender all these years, the untold stories, the glory, the fears, in the heart of me now, in the heart of me now. I am the I am. I am the I am the I am.
Sunny Day, Jim Bianchi, Cole Miller, thank you so much.
Beautiful.
That was beautiful. I know y'all are still in the zone, right? That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. All right, we have a few minutes, and this is the part of our service where we have an opportunity to hear from you. Maybe a celebration of something wonderful that has happened, or an aha that you got from the talk or from the music, or simply just want to check in with our spiritual community on some way that we might support you prayerfully. Hey, beloved, it's good to see you.
Well, the still small voice within me said to get up and share what I've been experiencing for the last 2 months.
Okay.
It was exactly that. I had some challenges, healing processes going on for 2 months. Accidents and different things, flu, cold. Anyway, it gave me time to do exactly what you said, Reverend Sunshine, to get out of the mind of busyness, to have time to meditate probably all day and all night, and to get in touch with the still small voice of God that is really very still and small, because it takes a very quiet, silent attitude to actually hear that. And I finally heard it.
Nice.
And there's also something else that's interesting. I also heard a sound, a high-pitched frequency sound that's some people hear when they get in touch with meditating for long periods of time. Some people go to a doctor and they say it's tinnitus. And I checked that out. It wasn't tinnitus. It was, to me, it was the primal sound that we all have. It's in every one of us. And I've been hearing that constantly, consistently, all the time. And I kept asking it. It's kind of like I was communicating with it. I said, "What are you?" It said to me that I am the Om sound that you keep singing Om to, but this is the real Om. And then it's a sound that's in the background. It isn't very loud, actually. You kind of have to listen for it to really get it, because it's like going into nature and hearing the stillness of nature. And it's this background noise that surrounds you, because it's not overwhelming. It's very calming, actually. It helps to help you to go deeper inside. It helped me to go deeper inside. And then I started asking it questions. And it said, "Yeah, you're right. You're really connected to something that you've been looking for a long time. And now here I am to communicate with you and give you some answers." And I got some good answers about life, and my life, and about the truth. And you speaking the truth, I experienced it directly. So thank you.
You're welcome, beloved. Thank you. And that's what I'm talking about. Being still enough to hear and to experience for ourselves. It's one thing for me to talk about it week after week, but it's another thing for you to have your own experience of life, of God, of this power, this presence that is always at the forefront of your life, but is indeed that voice that is that in the background, that is just always there. Always. I am always with you, my beloved. And so, we've come to that part where we get to thank everybody. Thank you. So, I want to thank everyone who's participated so diligently in having this service be so wonderful for us. I want to thank Ginny, our coordinator, for making sure that everything runs so smoothly. Ed Reeves, who's done our sound tonight. I want to thank Tim for our audio visual tonight and actually making sure that we're live streaming and that we're coming into the homes of many people throughout the world and that we're available on archives for people to see later on. I also want to thank our two practitioners, Sharon and Denise. Want to thank you so much for having that consciousness of simply knowing the truth. Sharon's been in the back holding the light for us, and right behind her is a prayer box. If you are moved to prayer and you want to sign up for a prayer request, you can just simply head over to that box right behind where Sharon is, fill out a prayer request, and know that our practitioners and our ministers will know the truth for and about you, and that we will keep you in our prayers, knowing the perfect and divine outcome for whatever it is that you'd like prayer about. Now, some of you may want prayer immediately after service, and you can have that. That is our gift to you. Our practitioners will be in the chapel just outside of this door, and you can sit with them for a few minutes, and they will pray with you and know the truth. I appreciate the great reading and the prayer today. Thank you so much for representing our practitioner corps, Denise, on our pulpit with us tonight. I'm so happy to have you as part of our Wednesday night team and having you be a permanent part of our Wednesday night service. I so appreciate that. And of course, want to thank our musicians, want to thank Cole, Jim Bianchi, Sunny Daye, and of course, all of us here being of service. We would be here all by ourselves if it wasn't for you. Out of all of the things you could have done tonight, this very night, you decided to come here. And so I thank you. I thank you for your support, for wanting to grow spiritually, for wanting to make a difference, for being the sponge and absorbing that which we talk about here, and for applying it in your lives, and for being the light and the beacon of light out in the world. Next week, our message next week, because it says TBA, so just in case some of you were on the fence and going, I don't know the message next week, I ain't showing up. So I'll let you know that the message for next week is meditation as my medication. All right, meditation as my medication. So promise that it's going to be quite enlightening. And congratulations to those of you who've been reading every day, Science of Mind book, keeping up with us. So the invitation now is to rise as we sing our closing prayer. And after our closing prayer, we're going to do some fellowship out in the family room where we have some refreshments and where we have the opportunity to be with one another. And where we have an opportunity to support one of our youngest who has some chocolates for us. So make sure you see Chris. He's got some yummy chocolates for us, and we get to support him as he endeavors on his education. You ready to do this? All right. Here we go.
This is our prayer, a song of peace. We get to be the change we want to see. With open hearts and open hands, we lift our voices in love we stand. This is our prayer, a song of peace. We get to be the change we want to see. With open hearts and open hands, we lift our voices, in love we stand. We lift our voices, in love we stand. We lift our voices, in love we stand.
so much. See you in the family room.
Something wonderful, something wonderful is happening to me right here, right now. Something wonderful, something wonderful is happening to me right here, right now. I can feel it in my body, I can feel it in my soul, I can feel it in my heart, and it won't let go. Something wonderful, something wonderful is happening to me right here.